March 9th, 2015. How come the U.S. government absolutely refuses at every single level of law enforcement agencies to arrest the #1 cybercrime terrorist of all time? His name is Robert D. Rose. All anyone has ever had to do is simply call this China cell number, as my USA numbers there. I'm actually bare-chested right now. I may be naked as a jaybird. Just like our U.S. government is. I've been working for them and all governments the entire time on behalf of God. And yet, not a single person has ever called me back in any form or method, direct or indirect. Why, the world asks? It's because the ones I've contacted have implicated themselves in the most massive cover-up conspiracy of all time. Why waste words? For the documentation is sitting there on followkeith.com, which links into Where is Robert Rose. And the best biblical news of all time is that this is biblical scripture fulfillment of Revelations and all the other Old and New Testament scriptures. For indeed, this is the last testament of all time. Every good book has 3 main parts: the beginning, the middle conflict, and the conclusion. For we are in end times. And yes, the king wears no clothes. These are the people who are your leaderships, who are formerly known as politicians, corrupt judges, lawyers, corporate executives, and underground criminal enterprises. That's everyone, by the way, who are stealing your assets on a daily basis. It's called skimming, and they're conducting criminal enterprises behind closed doors because their signatures on court documents clearly disclose this information. And I've been fighting the devil for 7 years, easy to see on all the court documents and the transcripts and the depositions and the hundreds of thousands of dollars I've lost to this criminal who even robbed my house on August the 4th, 2010, right before he shut down all his companies and transferred the assets in November 2010. It's implicated over 100 U.S. government officials. And when the journalists get hold of this and the first ethical federal judge goes hog wild in signing arrest warrants against each and every person who has criminally implicated themselves, such as Sally Yates's Attorney General group in Atlanta. She just got promoted to Washington, D.C. For here, right here, is my China cell. Anyone can call me. And the military can come pick me up and personally fly me back to the United States to testify in front of the military and the Attorney General and the FBI and the press all at one time. For this will indeed shake out these criminals and they will flee the United States, but they'll have no place to go because solutionurl.com will track their jackasses down around the world with face recognition. It's right there. For next thing is a biggest mass media campaign of all time that simply exposes the criminals based on their own evidence. I'm simply the Masonic messenger working on behalf of God, as well as the other thousands of people who support me and who are also messengers of the truth, such as Andrew Young in Atlanta, Georgia, and all the other thousands of people that I have notified legally through every possible way necessary to demand justice once and for all. And the U.S. government owes me around $400 million in Federal Torts Claim Act. They could just fill it out themselves. Because I'm tired of filing lawsuits, tired of notifying everybody, including Congress, Attorney General, U.S. Marshals, FBI, IRS, Georgia State Bar, everybody, including the press, And not a single person's ever had the decency to simply call me and go, "What's going on, Mr. Duncan? We understand you're a man of God, that you work with churches to bind and bond them together, and that you're going to Jerusalem on April the 3rd, exactly 42 months of tribulation from when I was kidnapped, October 3rd, 2011, for the court documents. Prove it over and over again." That's what number 200 is about. Actually, it's one of the very, very first videos I did before I was kidnapped, and immediately afterwards, because I couldn't get anybody's attention because they all went, "Oh, he's in jail. He must have done something wrong. And if we can't get him on this, we'll just hold him in hell for 848 days. And if he ever gets out alive, we'll just deny that we ever had any evidence at all against him." For it's all disappeared. And all Rose had to do was hire a couple of people inside the FBI, the IRS, the Attorney General, wherever I went, to block his evidence and order me murdered, assassinated, martyred. Very easy for Rose to do. That's why I've labeled him the Antichrist, to enable the churches and the public to go after him for the simple fact the U.S. military has never been adequately involved. Yes, they have. September 25th, 2011. Call D. Sterling and get those 20 documents that all point to Robert Rose. Welcome to the most wonderful broadcast of all, as I become the #1 sovereign ambassador and emissary of all time. Who's naked now? I think it's the exposed government officials who are agents of the devil himself.